Welcome to the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast, where it's all about turning your unique talents and perspectives into a viable business. And now, your host, Paris Hamilton.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast. In this episode, we are going to talk about the importance of having a winning circle of influence, and I'm going to bring on a co-host for today's episode. It's going to be a good friend of mine, a fellow entrepreneur named Maurice Smith. I'll let him talk about who he is and what he does in a little bit. But before I jump into the content for today, I want to tell you all that I'm compiling a list of questions that you all have, and I'll bring on a very well-paid business consultant in the future to help answer those questions. So not well-paid by me, but in his full-time job. That's what he does, is business consulting for one of the largest consulting firms in America. So if you have questions about strategic operations of your company, how to decide whether or not you need to rebrand your business, or whatever the case may be, just send those questions my way. You can send them either through the website's contact page or on Twitter. My handle is Creative Journey. The first E in creative is the number 3. There are no spaces in between the words. So CR3ATIVEJOURNEY. Or you can reach me on the Facebook page, which is just type in the Creative Entrepreneurs and you should be able to find me. For those who have already sent in questions, thank you. I look forward to that show, so stay tuned. Like I said on the previous episode, I do recognize when I'm not the best individual to answer particular questions. And in those cases, I don't mind reaching out to an expert to help you all answer those questions. We are all on this journey together towards a successful life. And yes, I'm an expert in some things, but I'm not an expert in all things. So I too seek out information from experts in various fields. But one thing that I am trying to stress upon you is how important it is to know the right questions to ask yourselves. The questions are equally as important, if not more important, than the answers that arise from them, because the right questions will lead you to not only identify hidden assumptions that you may be making, but also they will lead you into the direction of some sort of action. So if you are to change any aspect of your life or do something in a new and creative way, then you need to identify the right questions. But to identify the right questions, you have to really understand yourself. Have you ever bought a pair of shoes or an outfit and then afterwards you feel like now you see that outfit more often? Or maybe you purchased a car and then began to notice that car on the road and in parking lots a lot more. Or maybe you purchased a new type of technology like a new phone or wearable technology, and then you notice other people wearing that same technology more. Now, our brains think in terms of pattern recognition. We go through our days completely ignoring a lot of the information that's around us. And why is that? It's because not until things are brought to our attention that we begin to recognize them in our own lives. Your mind has to be expanded with knowledge before you can recognize and understand your own potential. So we have this thing in our brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS. And this teaches you essentially what to notice. So the RAS is what filters the majority of the incoming information in your brain and affects what you pay attention to. So once you decide something is really important, like your dreams, your goals, innovations, your brain will recognize it and pick up on it more when you encounter it in everyday life. So a part of focusing on the things that are important are, one, to train your brain to know what is important and what you're looking for, and 2, to put yourself in close proximity with people that are innovative and doing the things that you want to be doing. So most people don't understand the importance of having a winning circle of influence and getting rid of the negativity in your life. So who's in your circle that keeps you motivated? Who can you bounce ideas off of and get constructive feedback from? Who do you share knowledge with when you learn something new? That's who you need in your corner, not the people who always tear you down with their comments just because you want to try something different. If your circle isn't where you want it to be, then change it. But don't let other people hold you back. Now, it's about expanding your mind. It's not about tackling different problems and mindsets on your own. It's about picking yourself back up in tough moments. Look, if you're going through life doing the next logical thing, and by that I mean you wake up, you go to your 8 to 5, your 9 to 5, you go home, spend time with family. But if you're going through life just doing the next logical thing because you don't want to have to think about the future, then maybe you're just happy with that life and your current situation. But if you're not happy and you still do those things, take a moment to just ask yourself why. Why do I go to work every day just to go through the motions and then go home? Why are the stories of successful entrepreneurs inspiring to me? Is it because I see something in them that I could do? Just think about it. So I have my good friend and fellow entrepreneur here with me, Maurice Smith. He's going to help me co-host this episode, and we're just going to have an open talk about the importance of your circle of influence. So it's going to be pretty much an unscripted discussion. We'll keep it clean. But first, I want to let him introduce himself to you all. So, Maurice, go ahead and tell everybody about your entrepreneurial story, how long you've been doing it.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Again, my name is Maurice Smith. I am a photographer designer. My company is Illustrious Photography and Design LLC. I've been in the business about 10 years now, doing everything from wedding photography to maternity, logo designs, t-shirt work for fraternities and sororities, as well as family reunions, as well as designing logos and campaign materials for individuals in different states who are running for offices. It's been a very unique road. I won't say it's easy because nothing worth having is easy, but it's definitely rewarding when it comes down to the end of the day, that in the end, you can walk away from your 9 to 5 if you have one and really be working for yourself and setting your own schedule and making your own money.
Yes. Now you heard everything I just said earlier. I mean, is there anything you want to kick us off with? Did you have any thoughts about what I said?
Yes, I would definitely say that a circle is important, not just the larger circle, but also having an inner circle. There are always those people who have seen you grow over time, who have seen you fail, who've seen you succeed, who've seen you in the in-between, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
And those are usually going to be the people who can really tell you about yourself, what you're doing, and where you're going when you can't see it yourself. That inner circle is really important to have and maintain, and they're going to be the people who are about you even when you're not about yourself. They're going to be the people who, when you have semi-given up on yourself, they still haven't given up on you. And so that's why they're really important. And then that greater circle is important because everybody's got to have champions. Everyone has to have someone that they can go to that they don't always see, but's right there for them when they need them to be. Someone sharing a good word about your work, telling someone else about how great their product or their pictures or their music or whatever your company or business, the service that you're offering is. You got those people out there that are your mouthpieces, that are out there spreading the good word about what it is that you do. And that's why circles are important. But the other thing that I always tell people is, just like you keep yourself in check, you must keep your circles in check. I personally hand out pink slips. I'm not afraid to do that. Really, you have to do an evaluation every now and then, because to every person, place, and thing there is a season. And sometimes people in your circle have come to their season, their time when they may not need to be in your circle anymore. And there's just a good breaking point for you and them at that point. Now, when you need to evaluate the people in your inner circle, that may be a little bit more difficult because these are people that usually you have gone through, pardon my language, hell and high water with. These are some people that you have truly gone through things with, and you can say that at the end of the day, this person has my back. Not only do they have my back, they would just about do anything to save my life. So when it comes to an evaluation time with those people, it can definitely be difficult. What I have found is that in those moments, sometimes it's not about letting that friend go, but sometimes it's about putting that friend in a different place for the time being until whatever it is that they're going through or whatever it is that you have between the two of you can be resolved to where you can place them back to the inner circle where you want them to be.
So you give out pink slips. So does that mean you do like some spring cleaning?
Yes.
Every year?
Yes.
Reevaluate your circle and then let some people go if they don't fit into the vision or the goals that you have planned for yourself.
Exactly. I think the other piece too is that we're always progressing. As a true entrepreneur, you're never standing in one place for too long. So as you move, your goals, your objectives, your ideals, they all change. And so your circle has to change to kind of meet those new goals and ideals that you have for yourself and your business and your work. And so if you've got people who are still standing still, who just can't get with that change, then sometimes it's best that you let them be and you keep moving. And maybe, in time, just like with clothes and cars and music and trends, they come back around again. And so in time, you may come back to that friend again. There may be other times that are way, way, way down the road that you'll be friends again and they'll be part of that circle again because they would have reached their own personal changing point to be able to see from your perspective what it is that you're working at.
So, that kind of begs the question. Could you tell me, maybe, is there any situation that comes to mind when you reevaluated your circle and you thought that somebody might not be the best fit for where I'm trying to go? Like somebody that you might have handed a pink slip to, or maybe you put in a different circle, or you don't have to give any names.
No. Yes, we will not give any names to protect the innocent situations. Right. But yes, I can definitely think of times where I have had to pink slip one or two people in the inner circle. And it really was because we had a difference of opinion. And it wasn't just like your simple, oh, I think you should have it be this color versus this color. I mean, literally a fundamental, very deep difference of opinion. And so in that, it came down to not that they were trying to be overly critical or negative, but that's the way that it came off. And it came off that way quite often. And then as anyone knows, there's only so much negativity that you can kind of take in before you start to take it on yourself and it starts to bring down your process. And so at that point, I knew that if I wanted to keep moving at that point in time in life, then I needed to check people as well as I checked myself. And so at that point, I had a very long, lengthy conversation with them, actually over the course of a couple of days, to help them understand what it is that I was trying to do and how I felt that at this time in our friendship, that this wasn't working. Not that I didn't want to be friends, not that I didn't want to work on this, but in this area, this is something that we probably wouldn't be talking about too often. And so in terms of them being a part of, or me having them as a confidant in terms of talking about my business and the growth of that business and the direction of that business, I removed them from those conversations. And so we just kind of kept it casual for a while. We talked about other things. Sometimes I could kind of tell that they wanted to hear what was going on or be in the know of what was going to happen next. But I knew that I needed to kind of keep that way until they could really understand what was happening, what the change was. And then in time, actually, it was probably like 6 months later, they came to me and was just like, this is what I see. This is what I saw. I understand where you're trying to come from. And to be honest, this is the direction that I feel like you could go in to really make this work. And at that point, we were back on the same page. So then I could invite them back to those conversations.
Right. Well, something you said actually stood out to me, honestly. It was about checking others like you check yourself. So I know a lot of people, it's hard to actually check yourself and like see kind of things from a different perspective. You live this life every day. I mean, you probably go about your day not knowing what you're doing wrong, or like it's just hard to check yourself. I'm just curious, like how you check yourself. I'm trying not to go into like an interview type mode, but you said things that are just so interesting. I just want to kind of dig in on that. Like, how do you check yourself?
I completely understand that. I think what I get checking myself from is actually my main hustle, my career life. I work with community organizations. I work with people who don't grow up in those particular communities or organizations, and placing those individuals there to do good work or to do work. And I teach those people who I'm placing in those situations often that, one, you first do no harm. Two, you have to understand that you are bringing your own ideals, your own misconceptions, your own morality. You're bringing your own what I call your personal religion, with you into every situation. And you have to understand that when you're going into a community that is not like yours, the one that you didn't grow up in, not your family, not your hometown, that you need to check your personal religion at the door. Because until you understand the religion that's going on in that community, you can't be effective in that work. And so I've taken that on in my personal life, in understanding that, yes, I'm in the daily grind. Yes, this is my business. I put this blood, sweat, and tears into this. I started this. This is my money. You ain't paying these bills and buying this equipment. But at the end of the day, without everybody else, I don't have a business. Without customers, I don't have a business. Without a circle to support me when I'm feeling like things are going crazy, I don't have a business. I just have some things that I'm interested in. And so understanding that there are other people's perspectives, and even when you don't want to hear that other people and their perspectives or their thoughts influence your work, they do. We have to be honest about that. And so that is when I say you have to check yourself just like you check other people, that is what I mean.
Right. Now, for the people listening, when you say personal religion, you're not actually talking about religion. You're talking about something else. You're like talking about check your thoughts and like
Yes,
the way
like
your
all the
mannerisms
things,
and stuff like that.
exactly, all the things that you have learned over your lifetime, that the stuff that you get from your parents, the stuff that you get from your household, that stuff that you got from the high school that you went to, your friend groups, all that stuff that you carry with you, I mean, let's be honest. Because of who we are and where we come from, that has colored how we see the world. That's colored how you see other people. So it's just like if you see people who aren't like you and your friends, you be like, really though? I don't know if I can get with y'all. That's when bad words start to come out of your mouth, like lame and other words that I could say that I'm not going to say on this show. But yes, that is what I mean when I say your personal religion. It is the things that you have built up over time that you live your life by.
Okay. So we'll go back and get back into the importance of your circle. And I guess the first topic I kind of want to touch on is how it's more so about creating a winning culture around you. So Michael Jordan couldn't have won all those championships in his day without having the right winning culture on his team and in the locker rooms and amongst the players on the bench. Like, you have to create that culture. Winners win and losers lose. that's just it. You have to decide that you want to change your environment if you want to reach a certain level of success. If you are around a bunch of people that make roughly the same salary as you, think like you, have maybe middle class type of or upper middle class type of lives, then you will likely stay in the middle class, upper middle class type of lifestyle. But if you mix up your circle and throw in maybe some wealthy people, or you listen to them often, maybe on podcast shows or something like that, then something starts to happen inside of you. It starts to change your mindset a little bit, and how you identify yourself and who you identify yourself with. Your mindset just starts to change. And you begin to identify with the individuals who are comfortable taking the risks and overcoming the challenges. You aren't stopped in your tracks when something doesn't work out, and you keep pushing forward. And that's just one of the benefits of creating a winning culture around you.
No, I definitely think that is very true. What I equate what you just said to is something that my grandmother has always told me, and that is dress for the job you want, not for the one you have.
Yes.
And you have to do the same thing with the people who are around you. You keep the people around you for the person you want to be, not necessarily for who you are. Now, what I would tell people is keep a mix, because having the people where you are right now keep you grounded. But having some people around you that are a couple of steps in front of you or far in front of you helps keep you motivated.
Yeah, it's not about leaving where you came from.
Exactly.
It's like just stepping into a new world, like branching out, expanding your circle a little bit.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that you should never not necessarily be afraid of bringing new people into your circle, but make sure that your circle is well maintained. And sometimes you can't let it get too big, because too many people is just like too many people in the kitchen trying to cook at one time. That's just a bad combination, and then everybody's going to be eating bad food and somebody's going to be mad. So know who's in your circle. Be very intentional about the people that you add to your circle, and know the value that they bring to your circle. Know the value that they bring to you. Other things to just really be mindful of is, you can have a mixed crowd in your circle and things can be going great. There are people who motivate you. There are people who keep you grounded. There are people who just really just kind of, when you're in that moment where you think nobody else sees, that one person in your circle always sees you, and they're just like, you needed this, or I need to talk to you, or just let me give you a hug. And you like, I'm so grateful. But also just keep in mind that as much as they pour into you, you need to be pouring into them, because having a relationship where everybody is just pouring out, but you're not pouring in, you're gonna run your circle ragged real quick, and then there won't be nobody to pour back into you. So it's a very reciprocitous relationship that you have with your circle.
Reciprocitous. I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. Like, I try to keep my circle or my winning culture around me. I mean, you're in that circle. I mean, it's great to have you. I hope that I give to you as much as you give to me.
Oh, most definitely.
Like, how? Like, the time I remember is like us being in Richmond and just and talking about business ideas like all night long. Like, you remember that?
And this is very true. I want to say definitely some of the fondest memories are moments where it's just like, there's no reason for us to be talking about business ideas, but we'll just like hit each other up and be like, okay, let's just start a running document of like all the things that we could make into a business, and like to still have this to this day, and like go back and look at those documents and be like, that can actually work. I've got the capital to be able to do that now. Let me come back to that. Let me hit him back up and be like, hey, what are you doing in the area of, and maybe we can make this work. I think that's always great. And I think that really is a prime example of what it means to have a circle of winning culture. Because if we can't see the greatness in each other, then who will? Because that's all we have sometimes.
Yeah. And I am pleased to say that another part of my winning culture, I'm about to be married to her. So she probably over listening to me in the next room right now. But the fiance.
Hey man, happy wife, happy life.
I'm marrying into my winning culture.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So another part of the whole importance of your winning circle is that it expands your mind to new possibilities. So reading the books or hearing the podcasts of the experts, it allows you to get knowledge that you may not have even known you needed at times. You might have started listening to something for one reason and then picked up on a gold nugget of information that you ain't even know they was about to drop on. So you may even read a book because of the title or summary, but inside you come across content that you didn't know you was going to read. So once your mind is expanded to that new knowledge, you cannot go back from that.
No, that's very true. I think that's another great point to having a well-maintained circle. You can't read it all, you can't see it all, but having a great circle means that you can tap into the things that they see and they read. When they're about you and they know what you're trying to do, people will bring you things. They will be like, hey, did you know that there's another website space that you could use that's less than the one that you're using that's going to give you more? Wait, did you just tell me I can put money back in my pocket? Thank you, friend. Or there are ones that are just like, hey, I just went to this amazing show and they let new blah, blah, blah come and present at the show. All you have to do is this. What do you think? Did you just bring me advertising and marketing for free? Thank you, friend. It's opportunities and things like that in that circle that continue to keep you lifted and continue to keep you moving forward. And like I said, we can't be everywhere all the time, but our circles and our friends are everywhere all the time. And so when we need those things, as long as they are on the same page and we communicate and articulate what our vision is, then we can count on them, even when you're not thinking about it, to be thinking about your vision and where you're trying to go, and for them to be able to help you.
Right. And you know what I thought about when I was thinking about like building a team and building your winning circle of influence. Have you seen what's that new movie that came out? Captain America: Civil War.
So yes.
Man, when I was in that movie, I was sitting there. I was like, "This is how you build your team." Like you saw Iron Man going over to Spider-Man's house trying to recruit. You saw Captain America going to all these other people trying to build up his team. But like that whole movie is about building your team.
No, it definitely is. Like, I mean, and understanding where the strengths lie and how you create balance on your team, because having more of something or less of something can really be, at the end of the day, the thing that decides whether you get it or you don't.
Right. Yeah, I just thought that was like an interesting thing to think about while I'm actually sitting in the movie theater.
No, very much so. But it's things like that that let you know when you truly have a business mindset, is when you can see lessons in the most random things.
True. Very true. So another aspect of having your winning circle of influence is that they push you to reach for higher and higher goals. You might end up at point C, but you couldn't see that from point A. And that might even been because of your team. Like they put you onto some new knowledge, or maybe they did something in their own lives that made you think like, dang, I could do that. Like, no. Why am I not moving forward? Like, do you feel the same?
Yeah, no, I definitely would agree with that. I think it goes back to that whole, since we can't be everywhere, if you have a great squad, and everybody should have squad goals, have those squad goals, then they can put you on to so much. Not only, and depending on what it is that you do as an entrepreneur, business, or what have you, sometimes your squad can set up situations to bring you more clientele. So, hey, I'm a photographer. My squad often will get me to come and photograph their events, their moments, and then after I know for my squad, I'm going to do above and beyond excellent. So when those pictures get shown and everybody starts clicking and posting on social media, your boy has new clients, all because I've got a great squad. And I want to take care of my squad, and my squad takes care of me.
Right. You will be at the wedding in 2017.
Yes.
But I just wanted everybody to realize that success comes from within. And as we know, a lot of our outside influences shape the person that we become. It's like the difference between nature and nurture. So we build resilience through getting back up after we've been knocked down over and over and over again. And sometimes we need those friends or accountability partners to help pick ourselves back up.
I definitely agree. That is very true. Like I said earlier, sometimes we all have moments where we don't want people to see, but sometimes those people in our circle, in our squad, they know us so well that they can kind of see things happening before we even get to that point, and they know how to kind of get to you, what to say to you, how to put you in a different mindset before you get too low and you just kind of like just there, and it's so hard to get back up. Again, the importance of having great friends and a great circle that are really close and intimate and understanding who you are and what your goals are. These are your support system. I often refer to them as life support. Simply because at the end of the day, if you're about your business and you love what you do and you're about creating business and business opportunities as an entrepreneur, that is your lifeblood. And in order to keep that going, you must keep going. And in order for you to keep going, you need people to help you keep going. So everything builds on itself. If you don't really have that strength of those people standing on the outside or standing on the inside with you, then it can be very lonely. And sometimes you'll take a break, and sometimes that break will lead to an end of a project or an end of a business, when really you could have done so much more. You just needed that motivation. You needed that level of support that you just weren't getting by being by yourself.
Right. Now, I want to go ahead and throw out a challenge to the audience. So really take a look at the circle that you have. So not just the physical bodies that are around you, but also the books that you read or the podcasts that you listen to. Like, who do you listen to that lifts you up and motivates you and makes you want to do more in life? Who gives you advice on how to achieve your goals? Like, really think about it and be honest with yourself, because nobody else knows you like you know yourself. Did you want to add anything before I go ahead and close out?
No, I think the conversation that we've had today, take it to heart. Understand that your friends, your circle, your squad, whatever you call them, they are very important. Take care of those individuals because they will inherently take care of you. To reach the next level, those will be some of your champions. Those will be the people that will help push you and motivate you to get to that point and beyond. So again, squad goals are important.
Do you want to re-say your website or social media contacts?
Please, and thank you. Yes, again, Maurice L. Smith. That is Illustrious Photography and Design, LLC. You can search me on Google. My website is www.illustriousphotography.com, as well as you can search me on Zenfolio at ilphotog, ILLPHOTG. You can also search me on Facebook. Looking forward to seeing you.
All right, so podcast listeners, if you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time around, then you've just spent time with me and Maurice Smith here on the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast. So keep up the good work. Now, if you like this episode, please share it with other people through Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media that you use. I hope this podcast has been helpful in some way for anybody out there listening, hopefully everybody out there listening. Be sure to leave comments on what you like, dislike, and if this has helped you in any way. And make sure you get on the email list, and please leave a positive review on iTunes because those are extremely helpful. So, as always, I look forward to serving you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast. Join us next time for more great insights. And don't forget to subscribe to the email list to get the latest information and updates.